Without further ado, let's bring in Hadlie Jo. I purposely didn't write this. I purposely didn't write a big, let's say, intro framing thing for her tonight, because what I really wanted to say was from the heart tonight. We've had the opportunity in our first 26, 27, however many episodes we've had, to interview some really cool people who have written big number ones, played the biggest stages, the Opry and this and that. But tonight is really the reason that we are doing Louisiana country music, and really the reason that we started this thing, because you guys may or may not know the name Hadlie Jo today, but we're betting that in 1 year and 3 years and 5 years, a lot more of you are going to know who she is. So I just wanted to say tonight's interview is the reason that we started this thing. So we're excited to have her here. Without further ado, Hadlie Jo. How are you?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Uh-oh. We got technical difficulties.
I can't hear you.
Alex, you want to pull her out and put her back in real quick? Can you hear me now, Hadlie?
I can't.
We got technical difficulties. So while we figure that out on the back end, let's see how many people are in the comments over here. We got 19 people on the comments. Okay, we can hear you, Hadlie, but she can't hear me, so that's not going to do it any good.
Connect.
Hopefully, maybe she'll log out and get back in. How many of you guys are on the comments? We got 22 people on here. How many of you guys know Hadlie? Let's work the comments for a minute and tell me where you guys are from and how you know Hadlie.
I'm trying.
Let's see, Caden Wilson. There we go. It says, Hadlie Jo, we love you. Caden, man, we got to get you on the show, dude. We are following you guys, and we are enjoying everything that we're hearing. What you and Hadlie are doing together is awesome. So thanks for joining in. Let me text Hadlie real quick and tell her. Log out and log back in. It's kind of like the old reset button. Let's see. I'm sorry. Y'all hang in there with me real quick. Watch this. I'm just going to call. I'll put her on speakerphone. Watch this.
Hello.
We'll get you on speakerphone here.
I can hear you now. I don't know why I cannot make it work.
Sign out of StreamYard and then sign right back in. Let's see if that works.
Okay.
And if not, we'll just do it like this.
Okay, perfect.
Look, this is the fun thing about these things. It's not perfect. Technology's not perfect. She's in the middle of Texas, and this is fun. But let's see. Amanda says, Hadlie Jo, childhood best friend here, currently living in Stonewall, Louisiana. That's amazing. Katie says, Katie says, we love some Hadlie Jo, known her since she was born. She's going to do big things. I believe that. Brad Campbell, my old buddy Brad. Can you hear me now?
We got it to work.
There we go. There we go. I'm reading some of these comments. Brad's living in Georgia from let's see. Caden says, had the privilege of playing with her several times. She is amazing. Yeah, you guys sound great together too, by the way. I'm telling you. And then Sandra says, beautiful girl. Nana is listening in Midland, Texas.
She used to be my babysitter.
Oh, my goodness. And let's see. I'll tell you. Oh, my goodness. I can't. Is that Shiro? I'm not even going to try.
Oh, it's Sharon Vaughn.
Okay. Yes. I'll tell you, Hadlie Jo is the real deal. Oh, it's right there at the end of the sentence. And then I was asking them to chime in while we were working through it, so I want to read them out. Craig Harris, singer-songwriter, says, me and my wife met her here in Nashville. She's incredible. John Schaefer says, that's Kendall's brother. What part of Texas? She is out by Lubbock, Texas. And let me say,
Levelland, Texas.
Levelland, Texas. Lee says, we love you. We got so many people that are here for you. Then we'll just start the interview. But
okay, perfect. I'm glad we got it working. Thanks for.
Sorry for the inconvenience, guys, but thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for just riding with us and enjoying it and having fun and chiming in. Hadlie Jo, you just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
The big 18. My goodness.
I know. It doesn't feel real.
I'm not even sure I remember 18. I made a joke on we told you happy birthday on here last week, and my joke was that I was going to give you a book on all the things not to do for the next 10 years. So
and I will gladly take it.
It should be in the mail. I don't know how the mail works out in Texas, but it should be coming to you soon.
Sounds great.
So let's dive in. So you are originally, I'm from Vidalia, Louisiana. I was talking to you and your mom before the show. Mm-hmm. And so we're not very far from each other. And then Alex is from Alexandria. So we're all kind of in that triangle. Mm-hmm. But and then if I'm not mistaken, you moved to Texas early 6, 7.
I'm 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk about your journey growing up and just growing up in Louisiana, for what you happen to maybe remember, just your journey in general.
Growing up in Louisiana was super fun because I lived right up the hill from my cousins. And so we were always playing, we were always making up games and what have you, and we always had family gatherings. So I really strongly remember having those early memories with my family and really my cousins. And when I was 6 years old, we got transferred to Midland, Texas with my dad's job. And tried to go to school there. With my medical condition, I had a hard time staying in school, so started being homebound and really connected with my teachers through that. And I was telling you before the show that when I was 15, I got the opportunity to have a scholarship to play banjo at South Plains College. And so I was like, I'm only 15. You expect me to come to college? Well, I did. And so I did dual credit classes through the school. And when I was 16, I graduated high school and then went full-time at college. And I just graduated last Friday.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Congrats on that. That's amazing.
You.
That's amazing. Wow. I was joking with you before we came on that I like to do research on people because I feel like I owe it to people. Kendall, what's up, brother? How are you, man? Thanks for tuning in. Kendall's another great Louisiana singer and songwriter. We had on a couple of weeks ago. But whenever I was researching, I saw it. I was like, I know she just turned 18. And then it says she graduated from college. I was like, what happened there? I could barely tie my shoes at 18. So on your website, you have a quote that's pretty powerful, and I think you just kind of touched on it a minute ago, but it says, everybody has a story. I'm singing mine. So before we even go any further, I want to talk about where does that come from and what's the story behind that, and tell us a little bit about your service dog named Lucy, because I feel like she deserves some love too.
Okay. I kind of have to get into it. So, okay, just hang on with me for a second. From the time I was 3 until I was 12, I was a dancer. I loved it so much, and I did not even picture anything else in my life. And when I was 12, I got my service dog Lucy because I have a medical condition called hypogammaglobulinemia with an antibody deficiency. And that means that my body doesn't produce antibodies to fight off illnesses and infections. So I take plasma treatments weekly, subcutaneously, and that works as my prosthetic immune system, because if I did not have the treatments, I would have the immune system of a NICU baby. So I suffer from debilitating migraines at times, and they were getting so bad in 2020 that I was starting to have night terrors, and I would forget who I was and where I was at, and even my family around me, I would not even know who they were. And so we got into looking at a service dog, and there's a program that you can go through, but it was going to take 7 years just to be on a list to get a dog. And so my neighbors at the time in Midland, Texas had a service dog named Yago, and he was a Belgian Malinois, and I fell in love with Yago. And he came from a facility called Riadosa Malinois in New Mexico. And so we went and we got Lucy, and it took 3 to 4 months for them to train her medically, because she was already trained basically. And so therefore we got her, and the day we went to pick her up, I face planted in the road, and I broke my
I'm not
arm.
laughing at you.
Oh, I know. No, it's quite funny, actually. It's just so random, but it's true to me. If you know me really well, I'm very clumsy. So, face planted in the road, skin up my face really bad, broke my arm, and tore my meniscus in my knee. So I could not dance anymore. And when I went to the hospital to get all of that checked out, I got COVID, and I was one of the very first cases in West Texas. And so it was kind of just like, dang, all of this stuff is hitting me, and I don't know what's happening in life. And my mom got me a notebook, and I would just start writing stuff down, and really anything that comes to my mind, because I'm not an emotional person, and so therefore I don't really like to talk about what I'm feeling. And so I was just writing everything down, and my doctor told me, he said, okay, when you get out of the hospital, you need a vacation. And I said, but it's 2020, everything shut down. How am I supposed to go on vacation? He said, now is the best time for you to travel, because everybody's taking precautions. It's going to be super clean. Just go anywhere you want. And I told Mama and Daddy that I wanted to go to Dollywood. And so we went for a few days, and on our way back, we stopped in Nashville before we caught our flight back home to West Texas. And we were sitting in our Airbnb, and our Airbnb had a balcony. And I was looking over Nashville, and I saw some homeless people. And the first thing that I thought was, what was the one decision that led to all of the other things that led them to where they are today? And so I was like, well, everybody has a story. And it dawned on me then, even that I couldn't do dance anymore, maybe that was training me with musicality, with the rhythm, with the lights and the costumes and all of that, to be a musician, and that being in music and writing songs is how I tell my story. And so that's where it came from, is everybody has a story, and I'm singing mine.
Wow. That's because I purposely didn't get deeply into it with you before, because I wanted to hear it with everybody else for the first time. For the people that didn't know. Wow. I mean, I'm trying to kind of process what you were just saying.
I know it's a lot, and I apologize, but it's kind of all of a story.
I don't mean it in like that you were rambling. I mean it like that's just it's a really interesting story, and it's I mean that is some real adversity of having a condition like that and having to overcome it, and then seeing the bright side of it instead of. My next question is actually for folks seeing you for the first time, who is Hadlie Jo as a person? Mm-hmm. But from what I just gathered from that is you're a very positive person and a very and somebody who overcomes adversity. Is that close?
I believe so.
What else would you add on top of that? Look, before we get into music, who is Hadlie Jo as a person?
I care for people deeply. I love loudly. I'm very bubbly, and I never meet a stranger. And I believe in sweat equity, and we talked about that a little before the show, but I believe that if you really put in the work and you set your mind to it, you can achieve anything, and you just have to see the positive in it, because everything has a downfall to it. It's just trusting in God and put your faith towards that and believing he's going to take you down the right path, and just following it, and believing in every little positive thing that comes along, and just celebrating every little thing, because yes, the big things are amazing, but it's really the little things that you kind of take for granted at times. And so I think that's who I am as a person.
Wow. Are you for hire? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to have all of this figured out, and I'm supposed to be like telling you all this wisdom with our age situation. But man, I feel like you haven't figured out more than I do.
I'll take it.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about what first got you interested in music and family members and how whatever happened that got you kind of started with that.
Okay. My great grandpa on my dad's side, his name was Willie Jean, and he played guitars. He played beautiful blonde Martin guitars and harmonica. And from a very, very early age, I was fascinated with that. And my dad plays as well, and he sings. And so, on family gatherings on his side, they would always just get together and jam, and I always wanted to be a part of that so bad. And so I would always just keep rhythm, and that dancing was kind of my thing since I didn't know how to play music. That's right. And so my mom's side of the family is also musically inclined, but really the inspiration came from my dad's side. And like I said, in 2020 is when I got sick, and I had broken my arm, and I went to my orthopedic doctor, and he told me that I needed physical therapy. Well, everything was shut down, like I said. And so I convinced him that I would learn how to play an instrument if he put me in a cast that I could take off every day. And for some reason, he put faith in me. And during that time, I learned how to play 5 instruments because I would take it off 15 minutes a day, like he said, and I would work these muscles and what have you. And so I just practice every day, and I've always kind of been a singer. I kind of learned how to sing before I could talk, and even my family, you can ask them and they'll tell you the same thing. And when I was 7 years old, I started taking vocal lessons, and then I kind of outgrew Disney songs of which I was learning, and so I put more focus into dance. Fast forward to the 2020 when I was learning how to play the instruments, I also was learning how to sing and kind of do both. And my dad was like, okay, well, you can't just waste this. Let's go to an open mic night. I did not know that he wasn't going to force me to play. And all I knew was we were going to this open mic night, and I had to prove myself. And so I signed my name up first on the sheet at a place called The Destination in Midland, Texas. And I thought to myself, if they love me, I can get up there again because there's other slots I can sign my name. And if they hate me, I never have to do this again. And so as soon as I got done with that first song, and the audience applauded me, it was like, whoa, this is the same thing as dance, but cooler. And so that's kind of how it started for me, and here we are.
Wow. So whenever I saw that you played several instruments, and I was really expecting you to say like you started playing when you were like 4 years old or something. Being that you've played that many instruments, I mean, I don't know how many people are watching right now that play music, but I mean, it's not like super easy to learn an instrument, and to be able to play it in front of people. I mean, you can fake it or whatever, but to actually get up and do it, it's not easy. And you play 5 instruments, and you've learned all that since 2020.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I try and learn an instrument a year.
Yeah. That's amazing, actually. I mean,
thank you.
It truly is amazing. Wow. Linda Wachter says she has a wonderful mom and dad too. So, my little cousin.
I do.
I like to shout out the comments throughout because
I love it. I love it.
Wow. So what was the first instrument that you picked up and learned, or were you kind of doing simultaneous piano? Okay.
Yes. I was at my grandma's house, and I went into her shed because I was looking for my mom's wedding dress for some reason because I just wanted to see it. And so I found her old keyboard from when she was middle school, high school, and it wasn't even 88 keys, but I was fascinated with it. And my grandma's house was 900 square foot, so therefore there wasn't a lot of room for me to plug it up and learn it for the week I was visiting. And so I begged Mama to let me take it back here to Texas. And so she let me bring it back, and it sat in my music room, my toy room, playroom at the time. It sat in that room for a couple of days, and then I was so eager. I was like, you're not going to help me plug this up. I'm dying to press it. I just want to press buttons. And so I pulled it out one day, and I figured out how to plug it up and what have you. And I just sat there and figured out what sounded good, and that just kind of started it all.
Wow. That's unbelievable. If you're writing, so let's kind of skip ahead. If you're writing, which instrument do you prefer to write on?
Guitar, 100%. I have tried to write on piano several times, and I get too distracted with how many chord embellishments and stuff that you can make. It's too playful. I gotta have structure when I'm writing, or I can't focus. And so, I've written a couple songs on banjo, but mainly guitar. That's my go-to.
Yeah. Um, Billy Morphus says BR is loving this. I guess that's is that Baton Rouge or is that somebody's?
Oh no, that's her initials. That's BR. She she lives in East Texas. She's my cousin.
Okay. Yeah. So Sandra says, you're amazing, my beautiful girl, and I miss you so much.
Oh, I missed you too.
So who are some artists that influenced you kind of coming up to write, artists, sing and all of that kind of stuff? Who are some people that you kind of enjoyed or looked up to?
My top ones, in no particular order: Dolly Parton, Don Williams, Alan Jackson, and Emmylou Harris. Those are my top four. I just have always loved Dolly's appearance and her confidence, and I think that she really taught me how to carry myself and be a strong woman in the music business. And of course her rhinestones and everything, you can't beat it. And Don Williams, the butteriness of his voice, I remember hearing in my car seat, and I've just grown up on it, and there's just nothing like it, and I loved it. And Alan Jackson, you just can't go wrong. He's got great songs, and he was one of the first artists that I remember learning that he wrote his songs too. He doesn't write all of them.
And didn't even have co-writers on most of them. He's one of the, even in Nashville, he's one of the few people that just mostly writes by himself.
That's right. So I found that very intriguing. And then Emmylou Harris, she inspired me to play the guitars that I play. And I mean, her storytelling, she can tell them like no other. And so those would be my top four that have really kind of shaped me as an artist and a songwriter.
I think this is the second week in a row that Don Williams has come up, and it's either two out of the last three or two in a row. But I was like, you forget about Don Williams. People sleep on him, but
they do.
Man, he's a classic. He's so great. But I'm loving this because no offense or anything, but I feel like I'm talking like an 80-year-old.
I love that. I think that's a compliment. Thank you.
You're an old soul here. I'm like, who am I talking to? Like, I have to remember you just turned 18. I'm like, how does she even know this stuff? So, and I mean that in the best way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. So what age did you start writing? Did you start writing recently, or was that beforehand?
I started writing when I was 12. When I picked up the guitar, I learned a few chords, and I figured out that that's what classic country songs are based off of. And I just started writing little songs about my life and at home during COVID and stuff like that. And they weren't that great, but it's still writing. And so then when I was in Nashville, and I saw this homeless people and stuff, my first lyrics were everybody has a story, everybody has scars. And so I wrote that little song on my guitar, and my mom Googled songwriting camps around Nashville, Tennessee. And for some reason, it popped up Real Life Real Music Camp in the Woodlands, Texas. And it was odd because it's like, this is nowhere near Nashville, but whatever. And so we looked into it, and normally they had in-person camps, but since it was during COVID, they were doing virtual things. And so I got connected with a wonderful songwriter by the name of Shelly Coley, and she kind of took a chance on me, and I wrote lots of my songs with her, and she kind of taught me the ropes, and she taught me what a modulation was, and I thank her every day for that. And so yeah, that's kind of how I started writing. And then I got connected later on in Nashville, and that's when I really dawned on me, oh, I love writing, but I really owe it to Shelly for getting me into the writing part of things.
So I'm looking right here. Lisa Melton says, who is your favorite co-writer?
Oh, dang it. That's not East. She lives in Nashville. Well, she lives in Henderson. And I'm not going to answer that because I have too many.
She's putting you on the spot. That's unfair, Lisa. Lisa, stop doing that. That's unfair. I shouldn't have even read that.
No, it's fine. I have several favorites, but I'm not going to mention them because I don't want anybody's feelings getting hurt because I'm grateful for every opportunity. So that's all I'm going to say. The end.
That's right. That's a great answer. Norma Lawless says, I'm amazed at the discipline, determination, eagerness, and talent. She's amazing. And then Caden says, this old guitar is probably my favorite she wrote.
Yes, he tells me that every time I play that song.
Yeah. So you're starting to get in the room, it sounds like, with some Nashville writers, some respected Nashville writers, which, I mean, I don't know how many people that are watching now or will go back and watch this that understand how difficult it is. They don't just say, hey, we like you, come on in the room. Like it's kind of difficult to get in the room, and you're doing that. Mm-hmm. So they see something in you, obviously. What are some of those emotions and feelings when you go into some of those rooms to write?
I always walk in knowing nothing. And what I mean by that is I do not care how many hits you've written. I don't want to know anything about you because when I walk into that room, I want to feel equal and I don't want to be intimidated because if I'm intimidated, then I feel like I can't say what's on my mind and I feel like, oh, that's a stupid thought and they're going to think that I'm just a dumb blonde, like all of these things start running through my head. So whenever I walk into a room, they're equal to me. And so it's very basic conversation. How was your week? What was the most interesting thing that happened? What's been going on in your life? Just normal conversation. And that always, to me, kind of makes a better connection because you're not going in there, number one, intimidated, but also you're not gurming, as I like to say. You're not like, oh my gosh, you wrote my favorite song ever and blah, blah, blah. And they're just kind of like, okay. Yeah. They're very appreciative, but it's also like, okay, I get it. So
let's get to business. Yeah.
Exactly. So
anyway, like I've already spent all that money. We got to write a new one. So,
that's right. That's the thing. And so I just treat them like real human beings because that's what they are. And so that's my emotions going into a room.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. And a lot of people don't understand, like that first 15, 30 minutes is just like, you're not even writing. You're just kind of filling each other out. If you don't know each other, you're just kind of like, it's kind of like this weird little dance in itself. It's kind of getting to know each other. And
absolutely.
It could be a little awkward, but not really. Like, it's kind of just like, okay, tell me where you're from, blah, blah, blah.
Because it is a very vulnerable thing, just walking in with somebody and being like, this is what happened in my life. Let's write a song about it.
Yeah. Never really met in person, but here we go. Yeah. Exactly. So. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great perspective, though. Actually, Jim McCormick and I talked last week. Obviously, he's a great writer. And I was talking about all the different hats that people have to wear as a writer. A lot of people may not know that, there's a lot of different parts to a song. You've got your hooks, your lyrics, your structure, and your melody. You got all these different things that you have to put together to make a song perfect. But do you feel like that you have like a particular skill that you're better at than others when you walk into the room?
For me, sometimes it's different when I walk into a room, but mainly for me, it's the melody that comes most natural. Because to me, if you start off with the melody, I kind of know where we're going. I know the feel of the song. I know what emotions we're needing to pull out, just the overall vibes. And so also syllables, because that can be very hard sometimes if you write and then you don't have any music and it's like, well, that doesn't really fit. So for me, I feel like melody comes the strongest and the easiest, but I mean, it just depends on the day.
Yeah, you got to do it all, but
you got to do it all.
Generally people have like a, and even in Nashville, I mean, there's guys that are like, hey, I'm a lyric guy and I'm a riff guy. I come up with these cool riffs on guitar, but everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, but you end up having to do it all. But I'm just curious as to where people kind of visualize themselves. So you've opened up for some people, some big names and stuff like that I read. Are there a couple of those moments that you just thought this is pretty cool? Like, wow, this is pretty awesome.
For sure. Three that I've thought of just really off the bat was I opened for Lacey J. Dalton here at the Cactus Theater in Lubbock, and she stayed for my sound check. She sat me down and just let me play some songs for her. She got to know me. We even exchanged turquoise rings at the end of the night. She really cares for younger artists and up and coming artists, which is really nice, especially coming from another female too, because sometimes females feel like it's a threat and that they can't help one another because it's like, oh, you're competition, but really you're not. You're just, you're here in it together. So Lacey J. Dalton was phenomenal. Another one was Aaron Watson. I opened for him in Odessa, Texas, and it was 109 degrees when I went on stage, and it was a metal stage, and the sun was setting on me. And after the show, his manager came back there and he said, Aaron wants to meet you. And he gave me a banana and everything. It was just so nice because he really cared, because he's been there and he knows what it's like. So that was the second one. And then the third one that I thought of was I opened for Alan Chamblin and Aaron Barker at the Do-Si-Do Big Barn in the Woodlands, Texas. And I was 14 years old at the time, and I had just kind of started getting to open shows there at this venue, and had like a 15-30 minute set. And I did not think that they were even going to pay me any attention because, I'm just this teenage girl who's getting up here to sing some songs while they eat dinner, And I did Coat of Many Colors as my sound check song. And as soon as I got off stage, they wanted to meet me. So they invited me up and they ate dinner with me. And then during the show, they gave me a shout out and they said, we should have been opening for you instead of vice versa. And I just felt that was the greatest compliment, and that, man, I've actually done something right, and then later on I've gotten to write with Alan Chamblin, which is kind of a full circle moment. And so those were three that were kind of like, man, I'm glad I'm doing this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You brought up something that always fascinates me a little bit. And I've asked Kylie Fry, and I've asked Karen Waldrop, and I've asked all the females that we've had on that on the show this question, and is, do you feel that pressure? And all of them have been doing this for years, so they've really had like that experience in Nashville for a decade or so. But Kate Sykes from New Orleans, and she's kind of going through it now. But so far, do you feel like any type of that it's harder because you're a female or anything like that? Have you ran into any kind of walls that you feel like?
I do. But really, I think it's just mindset, because you can go in saying, I'm a female in the music business and everybody hates me and it's unfair for me. Or you can go in and picture yourself as a man, but also stay in your lane as the woman, and just be there and be like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be one of the guys. So I feel like, yes, there's been some times where it's been a little unfair, but also I think it just comes with work ethic and believing that you're going to do it, and having people that support you in doing that too, and just getting out there and grinding, I guess. Yeah.
Let it rip.
Let it
rip. Tristan Roberson music says, let's go, girl.
Oh, I love Tristan. He's great.
So you just recently redid a version of, we talked about Dolly a little bit. You just recently redid Hard Candy Christmas, which is a great, you did a really, honestly, you did a really, when I first saw that somebody was redoing it, I was like, oh man, do you mess with the Dolly song? But then whenever I heard your version, I was like, wow, like it really kind of earned my respect and made me, went back and listened to it a lot of times since then. So
thank you.
What made you want to do that particular song?
I have grown up on that song, and I've always loved that song because it wasn't your traditional, just holly jolly Christmas. It had some real depth to it, and I've always just loved the way Dolly sang it. And it was done for a movie, which I thought was really cool. That Dolly didn't even write it, but man, she delivered it, and I believed it. And so anytime I hear that song now, it's very nostalgic for me, and it takes me back to being that little bitty girl by the Christmas tree listening to it. And I wanted to redo it in honor of Dolly because I do love her so much. But I wanted to change it up just a little bit and add the bluegrass instruments into it since that is what I went to school for, kind of a country grass thing. And I wanted to record that particular song to bring the same nostalgic feeling that I had to a new generation. I have two nieces and a nephew that are little bitty, and so I wanted to especially give them something that they could be like, oh, that's my aunt, and we remember listening to this at Christmas time and what have you. So really just the same nostalgic feeling that I felt because it deserves to be carried on.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the bluegrass part of that is awesome. Like the bluegrass, just a little touch of it in there is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Look here. Moving to kind of your other music. 2025 looks like a pretty good year for you. You had a pretty good amount of streams. You released quite a few songs in 2025, and they all seem like they were received pretty well. I'm assuming you're an independent artist still.
I am.
Okay, so for an independent artist, a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, it's difficult to be heard, and your streams did very well. Do you feel like there's a song that kind of started it all, or maybe one that maybe didn't start it but kind of brings everybody in and introduces you to your other music?
I think Silverado did very well with that because it was during the summer and it was just kind of this country thing that people could roll the windows down and it's very easy to sing along to. And I feel like that kind of started it all. And that's really with my social media. I do have a social media team. I'm very grateful for them. They have helped me go to the next level. And so that's when we made the visualizer for it, and everything was kind of color coded, and it started feeling very professional to me, and I think others were noticing that as well. And so I think once they would see everything from social media, then it would take them to Spotify, Apple Music, wherever they stream their music, and that was kind of the start for me to kick things off for this year. So
Yeah. Do you this is kind of a random question to ask at this point, but do you have any Louisiana artists that you kind of like to listen to and stuff like that? Putting you on the spot here.
Oh yeah, I really love Kylie Fry. She used to rodeo with my brother in high school, which was really cool. And so, I love her. I love Caden Wilson. Like I said, he's like a big brother to me, and I was a big fan of his on TikTok before I even met him. And Bradley Wilson, which we were talking about earlier, he's really great, and I'm hoping to get to meet him in person and hopefully write with him soon. And those are three that are off the top of my head. I have others, but
Yeah.
those are three that are off the top of my head.
And that's great. Kylie's been doing it for a little while, and she's amazing. We've had her on the show. We had her at our writers retreat. We've had her on several shows, and she's amazing and a sweetheart of a person too. And but then there's Caden's doing his thing, and Bradley's kind of coming up, and so that's it. Kind of covers all the different places.
Yes.
So. And I always like to ask this song every week too. I started asking it, and I like it because you never know where it's going to come from, but where it's going to go. But what do you think makes a good country music song?
Definitely still guitar to fiddle. You got to have it. It's the heart of it. And don't make it too long. About 3 minutes, and that's good. Cut it off. My producer Jimmy Melton, he really taught me that when we went into the studio to record my first song, which was Hey Cowboy. I had a whole nother verse and stuff to it, and he was like, it's got to go, we've got to cut it down. And at first I was like, it's my baby, what are you doing to my song? And now I'm so grateful. I'm like, thank you, Jimmy. And so now I'm very cautious about that, about my timing and everything. But if it has heart and it has soul, and even if you didn't write it and you feel that connection with the singer, I feel like that makes a great country song, in my opinion. It can be about whatever, but as long as you connect to it and it's 3 chords in the truth, I think that's it. I think you've got yourself a country song.
I like it. You're the first person that has said that's mentioned the steel guitar and all of that too. So
really?
That's why I like asking it, because everybody's kind of got their own. Everybody's got the same sort of, what makes a good country song, but then there's always that one little. Mm-hmm. Somebody always says something a little bit different. It's like, there's that thought too. Yeah. So you've been on the Opry a couple of times as a guest on the Opry, and what were your emotions during that? What a legendary stage, huh?
Oh yes, Beth Nielsen Chapman. I owe it all to her because I met her at a songwriting camp here in Lubbock, and she gave me a chance to write with her for 2 days, and we really connected. And she is super great about helping up and coming artists, especially females. And so when she found out that I played the banjo and that I actually had a scholarship in it, she was pretty impressed, I would say. And she really liked to flaunt it. She was like, own it, girl. Go show that you can do this. And so when she asked me to play the Opry, I was on tour with Caden Wilson at the time, and Jimmy was driving us, and it was me, Jimmy, and my mom, and we had just stopped at Buc-ee's, and it was freezing, and we were going to Ohio to play this place, and I got the call, and it was like, man, what on earth am I going to wear? What on earth am I going to play? I got to make sure all my harmony parts are right. So the first time was really kind of nerve-wracking because it's like, okay, I got to make a great first impression. I got to nail all my parts. So many people have played on this stage. It's iconic, and you get one first impression. And so anyway, I wore some high heels, and I felt powerful, and I tried not to break my neck, and it was really great. And I met Vince Gill's guitar player from that because he actually helped me walk to the stage because I don't know how to walk in heels. But anyway, I made some really great connections on that first time. And then the second time is when she actually got me to play the banjo. And that was super cool because during sound check, we were checking mics and what have you, and I was doing my harmony parts, and then they asked me to do a banjo song to check the banjo. And I think that they were expecting just a pretty basic, just kind of chord roll thing, but I was playing an actual song, and I was talking to the band, just some musician lingo, and I think that they kind of respected me of being young and knowing that, and so they actually gave me a solo during part of it, and that wow. I was on top of the world. You could not tell me anything that night. But just getting to be in that circle and getting to hear the audience, it's really nothing like it, really.
We've got to hook you up. Do you know Amanda Shaw from New Orleans?
I don't.
The fiddle player. She's a firecracker. She has been all over the world, and she is such a representative for Louisiana, but she is a killer fiddle player, and we just got to get y'all together. Y'all both have that same great energy, and we've got to get y'all in the same room and on the same stage here soon.
I'd love to.
Yeah, heck yeah. You also, we've got a few minutes left. I got a few more questions, and I'll let you out of here. But you've also played the legendary Bluebird Cafe, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
That night was so great. It was all upcoming female songwriters. We were 21 and under, and it was super cool just sitting in that room and knowing all of the stories that have been told and knowing all the songs that's been discovered there, and just getting to be there, and it's really tinier than I thought it was. Wow. But really getting to you feel every emotion that the audience has because you're literally in the middle of the room and you hear every sigh and you can basically see every teardrop, and it makes you feel like you've really done your job as a songwriter. Because when you're on a regular stage, you know, people can come up to you after the show and be like, "Oh, you made me feel this way." And it's like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm meant to do. I'm supposed to make you feel that way. But being in the Bluebird and actually hearing it and feeling it, excuse me, like I said,
Yeah.
cotton is being stripped around here. My allergies are bad. But just feeling every emotion, it really feels like, yeah, even if I don't have a hit song or if I'm not number one on the radio or whatever, this is what I'm meant to do because I made somebody feel something.
Yeah, it's a special room, and it is small. I mean, it's
Yes.
people see it on TV or whatever on the old show, and they think, oh, it's going to be this big place, but they don't realize it's a little strip mall in Green
Oh
Hills.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But what a cool place, though. Just like I said, a couple of more. How are you balancing all of this crazy music business stuff with being a teenager? Because you're still 18 years old. You just literally been 18 for just like a week now.
Yes,
How do you
sir.
even? How do you? I don't even know. Like I don't even know. It might be good that you're that young. I don't.
Most of my friendships and stuff come from school, and it's helpful because we're all in the same business, and so we all understand, you know, um, if somebody can't come hang out because they have a gig, it's like, yeah, you got to
Yeah.
make money somehow. You know, we just understand each other. And I've never been a typical kid ever. I've always loved hanging out with my mom and daddy, and I love being outside, and I love fishing and all this stuff. Um, and so I just find time um, in my regular day to do stuff, other stuff that I love, but mainly my life revolves around music because I do love it so much that it's not a job and it's not a chore to me. It's like I'd rather be doing music right now. That's my perspective. I
Yeah.
could be writing a song right now, or man, I wish I had a guitar in my hands right now. You know, it's just the things to me. So and also with that being said is me loving hanging out with my mom and dad is that my dad being a musician too, he understands it, and so we will play music together, and that's our quality time. And so I just live life to the fullest in my own little world. I'm not typical, but I do it my way. So
That's awesome. I'm loving this. I'm so glad that we had you on tonight because now I feel like I know you so much. I've been following you and we've been sharing the news about your releases and stuff, but it's always fun to root for somebody that is just a cool person and that really has a great perspective of life and everything. So, what can fans expect from Hadlie Jo in 2026?
I'm not gonna say a whole lot, but well, there is gonna be a whole lot, but I'm not gonna speak of a whole lot. Um, expect to see some new four walls that I'll be living under. Let's say that, and lots of new music. We have a lot of cool stuff under our sleeves, so just get ready for it.
And your buddy here, Caden, says, "Get ready. This girl's heading straight to the top. Couldn't be more proud." It's great to
Oh,
see that. It's great to see that kind of support between you guys too, because
oh
that's one of the
yes.
things. Like I said, we're trying to build with Louisiana country music. You guys are already doing it in your circle,
Mhm.
but we're trying to do this statewide, like support each other more
Oh
and get
yes.
each other's back and all of that good stuff. Paul
Mhm.
Martinez says, "Great music, Hadlie Jo music." So.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, how last just before we get out of here, how can fans follow you?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Hadlie Jo Music, HADLIEJO Music, or you can find me on all streaming platforms under Hadlie Jo. So
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry I called you an old lady.
no, no, I'm glad you did. I'm just a meatball at heart. I promise.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know that without saying what you were keeping secret a while ago, I'll be seeing you soon.
in
a certain part of the country. I'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to meeting you in person. And I've been pulling for you, but I'm pulling for you even harder now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any way that we can help, please reach out and we'll help any way that we can.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. And thanks to all my family and friends who are tuning in.
No doubt they love you. So we'll see you soon, Hadlie Jo.
Okay. See you soon. Bye, everybody.
I got to figure out how to pull you off here. There we go. My mouse is hanging up. There we go. See you soon. All right, guys. We are, thanks to Hadlie Jo for coming on tonight. Man, some of those answers I really wasn't expecting. I didn't know that she was going to be that wise at an early age, but she sure was. So we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting her and supporting the show. I always say this: if you tuned in only for Hadlie Jo, if you don't have something going on Tuesday nights, chime in and come see some other people, meet some other people like her. There's so much talent in Louisiana and beyond. So join us every Tuesday night, get in the comments, see some of y'all from shows 6 or 7 weeks ago. So thank you guys. Again, make sure to like, follow, share, comment. Let's together show the world what Louisiana country music is all about. Check out our website. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless all the Louisiana folks out there. Enjoy the rest of your week. God bless everybody. And we'll see you next Tuesday night on Louisiana Country Music.